Egyptian national and American citizen Yasser Abdel Said earns his place on the most wanted list for charges including unlawful flight to avoid prosecution and multiple accounts of capital murder. To clarify, this is the American definition of capital murder, meaning any murder that makes the perpetrator eligible for the death penalty. An abusive husband and father both. Yasser, a Muslim man, was manipulative and controlling of his two daughters, Amina, 18, and Sarah, 17, whom he had felt dishonored the family by their refusal to follow conservative traditional Islamic behavior. His daughters would try to reach out, sending instant messages to friends, saying he treats me like a whore, as well as sending multiple emails claiming he had intent to kill them. And on January 1st, 2008, he did just that. Yasser lured his children into his taxicab on pretense of taking them out to eat. Instead, he drove them both to Irving, Texas, and shot both girls in the backseat of his taxi. The youngest, Sarah, would manage to get one final distress call off to 911.
What's going on, man?
I'm dying, that's what's up.
Among the reasons for killing his children, Sarah would smile too much at customers at her after-school job, and Amina had a boyfriend. Yasser is still at large and holds a $100,000 bounty for any information directly leading to his arrest. Fidel Urbina, a Mexican national fugitive, would be added to the FBI 10 Most Wanted Fugitives list June in 2012 on various charges, most notably first-degree murder, kidnapping, and sexual assault. While working in Chicago as an automotive mechanic, Fidel was arrested for raping a local waitress in her car and home. 7 short months after, while free on bond, he would rape, then murder 22-year-old Gabriella Torres, whose body would turn up in the husk of a burned-out car in a Chicago alley. In 1999, the FBI declared a manhunt for Fidel, which is still going. Reports have been filed with citing claims in Mexico. Despite this, he remains at large. A $100,000 reward is available for any information leading to Urbina's arrest. Added to the most wanted list in 2009, Mexican-American fugitive Eduardo Ricolme Ravelo is a known leader of the Barrio Azteca gang, wanted on multiple charges relating to drugs and organized crime, dangerous, and a leader of murderers. The Barrio are known as hitmen for the Vicente Carrillo Fuentes drug trafficking organization and are responsible for numerous murders. Federal authorities say Ravelo may have altered his physical appearance through plastic surgery and altered his fingertips to aid in his hiding. It's heavily believed that he is hiding with his wife and children in Ciudad Juarez, maintaining at all times a heavy supply of bodyguards and armored vehicles for protection from law enforcement, rival gangs, and other cartels. Eduardo is still at large, and the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for any information leading to his arrest. William Bradford Bishop Jr., a former United States Foreign Service officer, has been a fugitive since 1976 after murdering 5 family members, his wife, mother, and 3 children. After having enough of a disappointing career, Bishop would leave his office one day telling his secretary he just didn't feel well. Shortly thereafter, he drove to a bank and withdrew his savings. On his way home, he would make multiple stops for supplies to his planned-out slaughter. After purchasing a ball-peen hammer and gas can from Sears, he made his way to a nearby gas station where he filled his vehicle and gas can. From there, he drove to Posh's Hardware, where he purchased a shovel and pitchfork. Returning home sometime after his children were put to bed, he would begin by murdering his wife first, as she was still awake. His mother would return shortly after from walking the family's dog and was murdered next. Bloodied, he made his way upstairs, where his children slept, as he bludgeoned them to death. William then loaded all 5 bodies into the trunk of his car, drove for 6 hours in a secluded swampy forest, dug a shallow hole in which to place the bodies, then doused them in gasoline before igniting the corpses. Still at large, William was added to the most wanted list in 2014 with a $100,000 reward for any information leading to his arrest. He is believed to have fled to Europe, where numerous reports of a man matching his description have originated. Wanted for the murder of his wife and 2 children, Robert William Fisher is an American fugitive added to the most wanted list in 2002. In a monstrous act, Fisher shot his wife Mary in the back of the head and slashed his children's throats from ear to ear before returning them all to their beds. In a botched attempt to conceal evidence of homicide, Robert pulled the gas line from the back of the house's furnace, causing an ignition source to ignite the gas. Firefighters would discover the remains, later identified as Mary, age 38, Brittany, age 12, and Bobby, age 10. This murderer remains at large and has not been spotted, and authorities have no lead onto where he may be. Nonetheless, there is a $100,000 reward with information resulting in his apprehension. An evil that evil considers vile. Alexis Flores, a Honduran fugitive, is wanted for the kidnapping, rape, and murder of 5-year-old Ariana de Jesus in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 2000, and in 2007 was added to the FBI's most wanted list. Just days after 5-year-old Ariana was reported missing, her body would turn up in the basement of an empty apartment building in which Flores is believed to have stayed. She had been raped, strangled, then wrapped in a trash bag. Flores remains a fugitive, and a $100,000 reward is offered to anyone with information resulting in the apprehension of this loathsome individual, who is considered to be armed and extremely dangerous. Arguably the least despicable on the list, Victor Manuel Guerrena holds a $1 million reward for information leading to his arrest. In 1983, Victor and other members of the Los Macheteros gang robbed a Wells Fargo armored car facility, resulting in a $7 million theft. Guerrena is believed to be living in Cuba and is currently the fugitive to have spent the longest time on the list after he was added in 1984. After working as a security guard for Wells Fargo, Guerrena at some point removed his co-worker's gun, handcuffed them, and tied the 2 of them up, injecting them with an unknown non-lethal substance to subdue them. He then simply put the $7 million in the trunk and drove away. It's just hard to paint him as the villain comparatively. Somehow the reward doesn't seem to fit the crime when you look back at our list. American fugitive Jason Derek Brown is wanted for first-degree murder and armed robbery. November 29, 2004, 24-year-old armored truck guard Robert Palomares carried the weekend deposit outside the AMC Ahwatukee 24 movie theater. Around 10 a.m., a hooded gunman ambushed him, shooting 6 times, with 5 shots striking his head, dying at the scene. The shooter, Brown, then took a bag of money, totaling $56,000, fled into a nearby alley, and escaped on a bicycle. Witnesses initially gave a description of a 25 to 30-year-old Hispanic man. Authorities would later recover the bicycle, and fingerprints would subsequently link Brown, a Caucasian man, to the murder. Brown would be added to the FBI's most wanted list 3 years after, in 2007. A $100,000 reward is offered for any information relating to his arrest. In 1980, Glenn Stewart Godwin was self-employed and down on his luck. He and roommate Frank Soto Jr. made a plan to rob a drug dealer friend of theirs, Kim LaValle. Luring LaValle back to their home where Soto held him, Godwin assaulted and attempted to strangle him. Ultimately, this led to Kim LaValle being stabbed 26 times with a butcher knife. The 2 friends loaded the body into a truck and headed out toward the desert to mask the bloody evidence with homemade explosives. Godwin and Soto would not escape capture. Now, a convicted murderer and American fugitive, Glenn Stewart Godwin, was arrested in 1983. After sentencing, Godwin was sent to Folsom State Prison, California, where he would serve a 26-year to life sentence. 4 short years after, Godwin, with suspected aid from his wife and a former cellmate, would escape prison with a hacksaw and a small homemade raft waiting outside. Still at large, Godwin has a $100,000 reward attached to any information that leads to his apprehension. Israeli and Ukrainian-born organized crime boss Semyon Mogilevich, believed by European and United States federal law enforcement to be the boss of bosses of most Russian mafia syndicates in the world. He is described by the FBI as the most dangerous mobster in the world and was added onto their most wanted list in 2009 for a massive list of illegal activities far too long to list completely. It does include weapons trafficking, contract murders, extortion, drug trafficking, and prostitution on an international scale, just to name a few. Unlike the others on our list, authorities know exactly where Mogilevich is, living freely in Moscow with his 3 children. Semyon is so horrifyingly powerful that although there really isn't a crime that he hasn't committed, and they know right where he is, no one can touch him. His hands deep in the pockets of many powerful figures, alleged reports including Vladimir Putin himself. Semyon is still at large, and the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to his capture.